Hello everyone. In this video, I will illustrate how to create circular tunnel assembly in Civil 3D. This is very important because we want to make cross section for tunnel and to calculate quantities of tunnel cross section uh, um, full circular tunnel assembly. First, I want to explain the main component of circular tunnel cross section. That is two main component of tunnel cross section. The first component is reinforced concrete circular segment, which consists of um, eight separate segments. And the second component is plain concrete filling layer. So the two main components are shown in this figure. We want to do this two component in our assembly. So we will make two sub-assembly of these two components. So as we explained, the circular tunnel cross section consists of two main components: reinforced concrete circular segment and a plain concrete filling layer. So in summary, in this drawing we will create sub-assemblies for the two components, and we will assign these two sub-assemblies to main assembly. So we will follow main steps in this video. This is the steps that we will follow in our video. The purpose is to model this section in Civil 3D as assembly. The first step is to create assembly for cross section. We will create main assembly for tunnel cross section. The first step, we will create assembly for cross section. To create assembly, we will turn to assembly, create assembly, and we will name this assembly tunnel. Any name, okay, and we will put the center line of assembly in any space. So we create main assembly of tunnel cross section. The next step is to draw polyline that surrounds the two components. As we illustrate, the two components are circular segment and filling concrete. We will draw a polyline for the two components. We will draw a polyline for circular segment and filling concrete. First, we will draw for filling concrete. We will draw a closed polyline that surrounds filling concrete. This is filling concrete. Now we will draw a polyline that surrounds this filling concrete. The polyline from there, we'll draw first a line, but we will make sure that snap is on, and we should make sure that all components of snap are on. If we click right, we should make sure that all components are on. So we will need center, node, quadrant, tangent, and the nearest. These are the main components that we'll need in object snap. First we'll draw line from left to right, that is for straight line. Then we will draw for polyline for circular component. So we will turn from line to arc. We will turn from line to arc. Arc this, we will press A to activate arc. So we activate arc. The first point is the end point of line. The second point is the quadrant of circle. So we activate it from second point. So we will enter S or type S to activate second point. We will make sure that quadrant snap is activated. From that, right click on that. The quadrant is activated, so we will press on quadrant. The second point is defined. The end point is the first point of line. So we have finished from polyline. We click close. We type CL to close this polyline. So the polyline of filling layer is prepared. Then we will draw a polyline for circular segment. We draw for filling concrete. We will draw for circular segment. But circular segment is consists of two separated or two parallel circles, and there is no closed polyline. So we will divide the two circles into two polylines. So we will divide the two circles into two separate polyline. We will divide the two circles in the center line by line. We will divide the top circle from the quadrant, that is the top quadrant, and that is the bottom quadrant for the top part. We divided the top part. We will divide the bottom part, top quadrant, and link to bottom quadrant. So we divide the two circles into two halves. Now we will draw two polylines that surrounds each half. We will draw a polyline for this half, right half, and we will draw a polyline for the left half. We'll draw a polyline by arcs and line. First, we'll use line from bottom to top quadrant, and we will turn to arc. So we will type A. We will type A or click on arc. The first point is defined. The second point will be this point, which is quadrant. So we will activate second point. We will click on second point or type S to activate second point. We will click on right quadrant. then we'll click bottom quadrant, so the arc is implemented. We'll turn to line to get this line. So we will turn to line, we click on line, and we'll turn to the inner arc. We have drawable line for outer arc. Now we will draw for inner arc, which this component. So we will activate to arc. We'll click now on inner right quadrant, so we will activate second point as we do before. And we will click close or specify endpoint of arc, which is top inner quadrant. So we have finished from first right polyline. So we will click close. So we create the first right half polyline. We will do the same for the left half, but we don't need to do the same for the left. We just make a mirror. We will make a mirror. So we will mirror the right half to the left half. So we will select the right polyline and mirror it to the left. We click mirror. First we will specify the two endpoints of mirror line. The first point is at top, and the second point at bottom, and these 2 points are on vertical line. The program order us to erase source object. We click no. So we have ended from the left half polyline. So we ended from second step, which is drawable line about the main component of tunnel segment. We draw a polyline for falling concrete, and we draw a polyline for light half circular segment, and finally the second left half for circular segment. So we draw polyline for tunnel segment. Now the next step, or the third step, is transform each polyline to sub-assembly. The polyline that we created, we will transform it to sub-assembly to be defined in Civil 3D program. To transform each polyline to sub-assembly, we will do that through Civil 3D by transforming polyline to sub-assembly from create design. Create design, this is an order which is create assembly from polyline. That is the main order to transform each sub-assembly from polyline. So we'll click sub-assembly from polyline, and we will select each polyline to transform it to sub-assembly. So we'll create sub-assembly from polyline. First we will transform filling concrete polyline to sub-assembly. We'll select filling concrete polyline, and we will name transformed assembly filling concrete. Now transformed filling concrete polyline to sub-assembly. As you see, we transform a polyline to sub-assemblies links as shown for filling concrete. Now we will turn to RC circular segment. We will create a sub-assembly for right half and sub-assembly for left half. So we will make the same steps. Click create design, then create assembly from polyline. We'll click on right half to transform it to sub assembly. We'll type another name, right circular segment. Now we transform the right half polyline to sub assembly. We will turn to the left half and do the same. Create design, create sub assembly from polyline, and we will click on the another half, which is the left half. We change the name, replace right by left. So we have finished from transforming polylines to sub-assembly. So we do all sub-assemblies for assembly. That is the third step and is the most important step. Now we will turn to the fourth step, which is modify origin of each sub-assembly to assembly center line. Again, we will modify origin of each sub-assembly to assembly center line. The purpose of this step is to add each sub-assembly to main assembly. So we should modify origin of each sub-assembly to circle center line. We will modify origin of each sub-assembly to circle origin to add it correctly to main assembly. So we will modify origin of each sub-assembly to circle center line. Now we will do for filling concrete. It is origin of filling concrete. Will transform it to center of circle. So we click filling concrete sub-assembly, and click modify origin. We will click on circular center line, which is this. So the origin of filling concrete is transformed from this point to circle center, and we will do the same for the other polyline, which is the right half circular segment and the left half circular segment. Now we will turn to right half circular segment. We'll click on right half circular segment and modify its origin to circle center. The origin of right half circular segment is that place. So we will transform this origin to circle segment. We will click modify origin and click circle segment. So the origin of the right half ball line is modified to circular segment. Now we will do the same to the left half. Click on left half segment and click modify origin, and we will click on center line. So all sub-assembly we modified its origin from specified place to circular center. So the purpose of this step is to transform all the sub-assemblies origin to circular segment. So we are ready to add all this sub-assembly to main assembly. So we will add each sub-assembly to the main assembly. We'll click on each sub-assembly and add it to the main assembly. That is the fifth step. We will add each sub-assembly to the main assembly. So we click on each sub-assembly and add it to the main assembly. That is the fifth step. We'll start with filling concrete. We click add to assembly, and we will click on any point on main assembly, especially this point. We will click on this point. So the filling concrete sub-assembly is attached to main assembly. Now we will turn to the other assemblies, which is circular segment. We will add the right half assembly and the left half assembly. We'll start with right half circular segment. Click add to assembly and we'll click on this point. So the right half circular segment is added to main assembly. Finally we will add the left half sub-assembly to the main assembly. We'll click on left half. Add to assembly, and we will mark this point. So all sub-assemblies are added to main assembly. That is the fifth step. Now we will turn to the sixth step, which add a shape for each sub-assembly. That is step is very important to create section view for this assembly and to make a corridor for tunnel segment, and finally in quantities the shape is very important to compute quantities for tunnel segment. So we will add a shape for each sub-assembly. We will add a shape for each sub-assembly. We click on each sub-assembly and add a shape for it. So we will add a shape for each sub-assembly, but in add a shape for each sub-assembly we will click each sub-assembly and we will select all sub-assembly links. So we will do that for filling concrete and two circular segment. But to facilitate that step we will separate filling concrete from circular segment. So we will separate um, the filling concrete from assembly to add a shape from it temporarily. And we will separate the two halves to facilitate that. Now we separated sub-assembly from each other to facilitate adding a shape for each sub-assembly. And after finishing from adding a shape for each sub-assembly, we'll return them to their current position. So we will add a shape for each sub-assembly separately. First we will add a shape for filling concrete. We click on filling concrete sub-assembly and add a shape. The program want us to select sub-assembly links, so we will select all sub-assembly links with a closed window. So we select all sub-assembly links. After that we click enter to add a shape for filling concrete. Now we finished from adding a shape for filling concrete. Now we will turn to the circular halves. We will make shape for right half. We click on first half sub-assembly, add shape as the same. The program wants us to select sub-assembly links, so we will select them by closed window. So we selected all the sub-assembly links. After finishing we click enter, click escape. We add a shape for right half. We will do the same for the left half. Click add shape and select all sub-assembly link by closed window. But we shouldn't include main assembly, so we will select with a blue window again. Enter. So we added shape for all sub-assembly. We will return each sub-assembly to its current position. We should make sure that each sub-assembly is returned accurately to its position. We return two circular halves to its current position. We will do the same for filling concrete, but we should make sure that the selection is made for shape and link. So we select link and shape, and we return the sub-assembly to its current position, and we make sure that we snap to the center accurately. So we add a shape for all sub-assemblies. Now the final step is to add a code for each sub-assembly. The last step is another important step, because it's very important to define these sub-assemblies in quantities. This is important in quantities because we define each sub-assemblies in quantities by its code. So the code defines sub-assembly in quantities. So the last step is to add a code for each sub-assembly. In the last step, we click on sub-assembly and then select shape, and finally we name a code for each sub-assembly. And now we began first with filling concrete. We click on filling concrete and click add a code. In this step we click on filling concrete sub-assembly, click add a code. We will enter code, and this code shouldn't contain space, so we'll name it FAC, which represent filling concrete. Enter, and we will select sub-assembly shape. When the color is changed to darker, the code is done. We can make sure that the code is assigned to sub-assembly when the color is turned to darker. So we make a code for filling concrete. Now we will add a code for circular segment. Now we will turn to right half segment. We click on it, add code, name it right circular segment. So we will type RCS, and we will select the shape of this assembly. The color turned darker, so we add a shape. We add a code for first half a circular segment. Finally, we will do the same for the left half. We click on it, add code, we enter the code. The code is left a circular segment, so we'll type it LCS, and we will click on its shape. The color is changed, so we added code for the left half, and finally we added code for the all sub-assemblies. Now we finished from tunnel segment in circle shape. Now finally we want to make sure that all sub-assemblies is to added to main assembly with defined codes. So we'll click on main assembly center line, and we will click assembly properties to make sure that all sub-assembly is added to this main assembly. To make sure, we will turn it to construction tab. So as we see, each sub-assembly is added to main assembly, and for codes, want to make sure that the codes is added for each sub-assembly. From shape, we show our defined codes. Add shape, RCS, LCS, and FC. So we make sure that all codes are defined for all sub-assembly. So we have finished from creating assembly from circular tunnel segment. That's all. Thanks for watching.